Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Readiness channel. Today we're going to ask the question, does peanut butter powder have a place in your prepper pantry? We're going to take a look at two common products, the Augason Farms and the Walmart brand, and we're also going to talk a little bit later in the video about these kinds of products in an emergency food storage plan versus just plain old peanut butter. Are these things any good? I've never tried them. Today we're going to crack open these two brands and see how they compare head to head. This number 10 can from Augason Farms is 2 pounds. It is sealed and has, I'm assuming, an oxygen absorber in there. We'll find out in a minute. And they're giving an estimated shelf life on this product of about 5 years. That's important to know because I think a lot of times people buy things in number 10 cans and believe that they're good for 30 years, and it's not always the case. It varies by product and by manufacturer. In comparison, the Walmart brand is coming in at 1 pound 14 ounces, which is a little bit less than the Augason Farms. They have a best buy date on this package of 2022. I just bought it from the store recently, so the storage life is certainly different between these two brands. Augason Farms is giving you about 5 years. This one is showing, later on in this year, it should be used up. It's not to say that you can't repackage this for longer shelf life, and we're going to cover more about that in a later video. But today we're just going to look at these two products head to head. This was about $12 and change off of Amazon, and this was around $9 and change right from my local Walmart store. Do these products have any use for us in an emergency preparedness food plan? Well, it's my full belief that fats are going to be an important asset for you to have in an emergency food storage plan. So to me, good old peanut butter, I think, is always going to be something that you'll want to consider having. Having said that, there's a lot of variety of uses with these peanut butter powders. We're going to talk about some of them today. So I do think they have a place in your prepper pantry. Let's crack these open and see how they compare taste-wise. First, we'll crack open the Augason Farms can here and see how it looks to us. This can opener that I've had troubles with before on these number 10 cans is being a problem on this one as well. Let's see how this old KitchenAid model works out. And it's opening it up no problem. This is another tool that everybody should have as a backup for emergency preparedness, is good old manual can openers. And you can see that in this case, one brand was virtually worthless on opening these things, and this is a KitchenAid opener and it works just fine. Okay, the can is about 2/3 full, and there's probably an oxygen absorber in here. I'm not seeing it right off the top, but yeah, I can feel it in there. So we'll take that out of there. We can adjust this if we need to by way of adding a little bit more powder or water to make it like peanut butter. I don't think that'll be too difficult to accomplish, so let's see what we come up with here. Give that a little stir. Okay. There's the Augason Farms. Let's give it a little taste and see what it's like. Okay, the flavor is really good. It tastes like peanut butter to me. You definitely notice the lack of fat in there in the texture that you would have in regular peanut butter. And I think that's why a lot of people are, why these products are gaining such popularity now, is because people like that it's less fat. In an emergency situation, however, fat would be your friend, not your enemy. So that's something to consider. Now let's give the Walmart brand a test. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to mix 2 tablespoons to 1 tablespoon of water and just adjust as necessary. They look and smell almost identical, just the dry product. Okay. Really no visual difference between the Walmart and the Augason Farms at this point. Let's see how they taste. The Walmart brand is noticeably less salty tasting than the Augason Farms. They're both very good. I wouldn't really say one is much better than the other. Deciding between these two products, I think, would come down to your storage needs and how quick you plan on using this stuff. If I had to pick a winner between the two, I think my taste preference would go to the Augason Farms. I like that saltiness in there. They're both very close, though. There's not so much of a difference that I would sweat buying one versus the other. It really comes down to what you're buying it for. If you're looking for something that you can store for up to 5 years, then the number 10 can from Augason Farms is the way to go. If you're looking for something that could be repackaged and I'm sure stored just as long, or if you want to use it in a working pantry or something that you're rotating through on a regular basis, then I would say the Walmart brand would handle that just fine. Now I want to compare just a plain can of peanut butter versus these two products here. This also has a best if used by date of later in 2022, so it's very similar to the Walmart brand of powder. The advantage to this is you have a product that you could eat right out of the jar. It requires no water, no cooking, no preparation, and it's going to give you much needed fat that I think would be invaluable to you in an SHTF situation. So in my mind, I would always keep some regular peanut butter for my emergency food storage, as well as some of these powders for a lot of different uses. Now let's talk about some of the things that these powders can do for you in your emergency food storage plan. Several ideas come to my mind. You could mix this peanut butter a little thinner, maybe put a little chili oil or something like that in there, and you could have a delicious dipping sauce for barbecued meats. You could make a salad dressing like you would get in a Thai restaurant and pour over any types of vegetables or greens maybe that you're growing in your garden. Additionally, you could use this on pancakes, waffles. Many of you like to keep protein powder around in your emergency food stores. I know I certainly do. This is another valuable resource that I think is often overlooked. These powders would make a welcome addition to a protein shake as well, especially if you're in a grid down situation, the store shelves were emptied. Again, it gives you greater flexibility and variety in the foods that you store. And what about baking? Wouldn't you like to be able to have some peanut butter cookies or something like that if you were eating out of your emergency food stores for any length of time? These powders, again, would provide you flexibility out of your food storage to come up with things that would keep some normalcy in your household in distressed times. What about whipping up some peanut butter powder in a cup with some chocolate cocoa type powders and things like that? It would be a dessert and maybe the only thing you had in a long-term event where maybe the store shelves were emptied or you were living off this stuff for some length of time without any other options. One of the common thought processes that you'll find in emergency preparedness thinking is that we're only going to have beans and rice and everything is going to be a complete and total Armageddon scenario. I believe there's some error in that thinking. That certainly could be a situation that we all find ourselves in, and it's good to have those things. However, I think about emergencies like we went through in 2020, where it was simply a situation where store shelves were empty and you just couldn't go get the things that you like to eat. If you watched my video about oats, you'll know that we developed a way to grind this up in a blender very easily and make flour out of it and bake bread. We've also done a video about making homemade blackberry jam out of blackberries that I grow in my own backyard, and that's why we highlight gardening and other varieties of preparedness rather than just going to the store and stockpiling everything that you can. In this situation, with these simple products right here, with some peanut butter powder, a simple box of common oats, and jam, or if you've made it yourself out of things that you grow at home, we could easily bake up fresh bread and we could have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And again, it would be a nice change of pace if you were eating beans and rice every day. Okay, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of some of the nutritional breakdown on this stuff. The ingredients in the Walmart brand are roasted peanuts, cane sugar, or sea salt. In comparison, the Augason Farms is peanut sugar, non-iodized salt. Walmart brand is showing 2 tablespoons as 1 serving. That's 50 calories. Total fat's 1.5 grams. Sodium's 95 milligram. And we've got 6 grams of protein. In the Augason Farms brand, they're showing a serving size also is 2 tablespoons. Same total fat, 1.5 grams. Sodium's 210 milligrams. So that is, yeah, the Walmart brand's 95 versus 210, and you can taste that difference. And you've got 5 grams of protein. So you've got 1 gram less protein here. You've got some more salt. Overall, they're very similar and very close in nutritional breakdown. Price-wise, these things were very close. This was a few dollars more. So I think that this is something worth looking at and adding to your food storage so that you're not just eating beans and rice. You can have some flexibility in your storage. Hey everybody, thanks for watching today's video. You know, I think it's very important to think outside the box a little bit in what you're going to store in your home for food that you and your family are going to be eating in a situation where you have no other options. For me personally, I like to have some variety, and I like to have some options that I can add to dry goods and other common foods that we see in food storage plans all the time. If you like the content that we provided in today's video, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. Those things help us out with the channel. And as always, remember, get ready so that you and your family can succeed and thrive.